Man, Siri's tripping on me. Siri, man, you heard that? Ain't nobody talking to you, Siri. What was that?
I thought it was your lady coming in there nagging you.
Saturday, February 17th, week 17 recap. Me and my boy Jay, we in the building, man. Jay, how you doing?
Good, man. Ready for some All-Star weekend. I act like I'm excited for the games, but normally I take this time off. It's like a little break from watching the games during the week. So, but I'm looking forward to catch some highlights, see some 3-point contests, some dunk. How about you?
I'm excited, Jay. I'm especially excited, and I know you're gonna feel me on this, is because we're both girl dads, and being girl dads, this All Star weekend, we see that Sabrina and Steph are gonna have that shoot off, and
Hmm.
to me, bro, that's so dope because like
Yeah.
that's gonna elevate the women's basketball into another level. Like girls that maybe have never even found out about basketball, never known what basketball are gonna fall in love today because disclaimer, we are recording before the all-star weekend
Hmm.
happens. Like this is 11 a.m on the west coast, February 17th on Saturday. But yeah, that's what I'm most excited about, Jay. I ain't gonna lie, that's gonna be like the dopest thing to see.
Yeah, I agree. I know I got about a decade on you as far as the age of our daughters, but and I did have a little bit. I'm not even too proud to admit I had a little bit of like a sexist outlook towards female basketball and stuff. In fact, we even chopped it up a little bit when we was hooping the other day, and it's just like to appreciate the women's game, man. Women's get buckets, they get them differently, and it's to be appreciated. And Sabrina knocks them down. She knocks them
Boy,
down, bro.
boy, do she knock him down. Boy, I was see, and while we talking about women's basketball, let's also give some love to Caitlin Clark, who he's now the all-time leading scorer in women's NCAA scoring, like
Hmm.
scoring history. Like that is insane. So shout
Yeah,
out to her too, because she's just
bucket
doing
getter.
her thing. Bucket getter, Jay. We talk
Yeah,
about you talk about skill. Boy, watch her
yeah.
play. She pulling from the logo.
Yeah, good
That's
stuff.
crazy. But all right, Jay. Well, you said it best. You talked about how we got All Star Weekend coming up here. Some people take it as a break. Some people, get into it too. But what I want to know, Jay, is I don't know if you're going to be watching or not, but I gotta know is because this is before a dunk contest happens, before 3-point contest happens, and before the Steph and Sabrina things happen. So let me get your predictions, Jay. Who do you got for the dunk contest winning? And who do you got the 3-point contest? And then for Steph and Sabrina, and I can list you the participants, and I actually will list the participants.
Actually,
For
go ahead and chat because I was like I forgot
yep,
that some of the stragglers in there.
yep, no,
List some of
got
the
you.
who's in the dunk. I know it's McClung and then Jalen Brown and
Yes, sir. So it's McClung who won last year, Jalen Brown from the Celtics, Jamie Jaquez
oh yeah, Jaime
from the
Jaquez.
Heat,
Yeah.
and then Jacob Toppin, which is actually Obi Toppin's brother. Which, funny
Hmm.
enough, he's on like the G League of the Knicks, but the
Yeah,
Knicks like they
they
drafted
traded.
him once they traded away Obi Toppin, which
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
funny. But those are the dunk contest participants for the podcast, folks. That's it for YouTube, folks. You will see that up right there. But Jay, who you got? Dunk contest winner this year.
Uh, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I haven't gotten excited about the dunk contest
Man,
since Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine,
man.
and so like I would bet on Jalen Brown not wanting to get embarrassed. You know what I'm saying? I know he's got the talent, and I don't know too much about Obi Toppin's brother. I know Jaime Jaquez ain't it like getting some dunks off in the game, and he can throw it down, but I mean this is just a
This is a different
different
game.
atmosphere.
Yeah.
So it's either going to be Matt McClung, in my opinion, or Jalen Brown. I'm just going to bet that he ain't coming out there to embarrass himself.
See, I honestly think, to be honest, besides Mac, and also I don't watch too much of Jacob Toppin to be so
Hmm.
transparent with you,
Yeah,
but I think that both Jalen and Jamie is like they're in-game dunkers, bro. Like, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? It's more of a I don't know. And like how you said, an in-game dunk, on somebody is totally different than you got to prepare something in there and like get flashy
yeah,
and fancy with it. So
yeah.
yeah, I'm also gonna go with Mac, 2-time dunk
You,
contest champ.
he is. He's solid. He's solid. But I've had a little gripe for years now. If no NBA players, no premier athletes, and like showcase dunkers as NBA players want to get into it, Like, I'm an advocate of letting some of those no-namers out there on those what are those,
The G League.
those crazy little circuits, the flying dude, those dudes
Oh
who get
yeah,
out there, right, in the streets, and,
yeah.
like, they may not even have much of a game, but they
Mhm.
go out there and they can do the
Put on a show.
freakiest, right? Like, that's what needs to be out there, like, it's or and if even if you don't wanna open it up to non-hoopers, like, to have somebody like G League only or whatever, like, people who care, like, who live and breathe it, but not the half-ass leftovers, you know what I'm
I
saying?
agree. I agree. Because yeah, I ain't gonna lie, dunk contest has been weak literally since Aaron Gordon and Zach
Yeah.
Levine, to be honest. So yeah, I'm right there with you. Dunk contest used to be a lot more fun back in the day when like that was like a real stripe or real accomplishment that players could
Yeah.
talk about. Like I remember when I was young, the knock on LeBron was like, oh well, like Jordan and Kobe won a dunk contest, and like LeBron, why
Yeah.
he don't go to dunk
Yeah.
contest, but that
Yeah.
don't even matter
And
nowadays half
I
the time.
got damn near, a decade and a half on you, and it's been worse for me longer. And I'm just like, nah, man. If there's candidates out there that are dunking year round, and this is like their Olympics, then
Mhm.
put them out there for the show. This is a
Come
show. We
on.
want to see some freaky stuff out there. You know what I'm saying? But
Come on.
that's just
But
my
all right,
piece. Let me
Jay.
get off my soapbox.
I'm with it. I'm with it. All right, Jake. 3-point contest. We got Malik Beasley from the Bucks. We got
Mhm.
Jalen Brown. Jalen Brunson from the Knicks. Tyrese Halliburton. Damian Lillard, which was last year's champion.
Yeah,
Lloyd Marketing. Donovan Mitchell. Karl Anthony Towns. Trey Young. Who you got?
bro. That was-
It's a tough one.
It is a tough one. He's not the most efficient three-point shooter out there, but like I could see him stealing the show. I'm going with Trey Young.
Ooh.
I'm going with Trey Young. He's like again, the efficiency is not always there, but he is for the show.
Yeah.
He is for the show, and he's streaky. I'm putting my money on Trey Young.
All
Who you
right.
got?
All right. I ain't gonna lie, Jay. Might be a weak answer, but I'm going back to back. I gotta go Dame again. Dame
Yeah,
time,
yeah,
man. I
yeah.
think
Yeah.
Dame's gonna start to get it together. He could become a 2-time 3-point contest winner back to back,
Mhm.
which is not many people in NBA history did that. So he can cement himself in history, and it's hard to go against a shooter like
He
Dame.
got the cleanest stroke too. It's so
Absolutely,
effortless. Like
absolutely.
Dame, who's your favorite shot in NBA history?
Clay Thompson. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Clay, and I know it's crazy right now because people are probably gonna look at me crazy, like John, like Clay Thompson. But if you go back and like don't have a recency bias, just watch that man's jumper from his rookie season up until now when he's so called washed. That man's jumper is the exact same. It doesn't matter
Mhm.
if you're closing out on him. It doesn't matter if he's fading away. It doesn't matter if he's shooting straight up. It doesn't matter if he's wide open. That jumper is going in the same way every single time, and it's so impressive.
I agree. I agree. I was going with the single greatest three-point shot you ever hit. Like one single shot. I don't
Oh,
know
okay,
if you
okay,
have one of
okay.
those in your
Like a
in your
clutch
back
shot in
pocket.
history?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Ray Allen when he backed up and he
And
hit
the
that corner.
Spurs,
Yeah, and
like
yeah,
when he
on
hit
the
on
Spurs.
when
Yeah,
you
on
put
the
him down.
corner. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, okay. I like that one.
What about
Mine
you?
was Dame. When you said Dame, the first thing I thought of was that Paul George shot, dude. That
Boy,
PG-13 one.
that's crazy.
Dude. Yeah,
Let
go
me
ahead.
ask you a question. Let me about that. Was that a bad shot? Remember PG saying was that a
It
bad
was.
shot?
Yeah, it was.
That's a bad shot.
Yeah, it
That's a
was,
bad
right?
shot.
But it was like, dude, that was the cleanest. I went to the gym like
You
the
tried
next
it?
day and I was like, dude, the body mechanics on this, where did that power come from? And to be so effortless, I was like in a state of shock. And I was like, for all the marbles to put a team down, dude, that was I like, dude, that made Dame an all timer right
That
there.
was crazy. Honestly, I remember when Paul George came out and said like, "Oh, that was a bad shot." Like, I realistically agree because like, bro, that was like a sidestep three from like
Yeah,
logo range, which
dude,
I
it
get
was.
it. Dame does have logo range, but it's like, bro, if you're gonna take that for game, like, I gotta live with
Yeah.
it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You
I
know the
also think
rules.
that's a bad shot.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm not mad at you for Dame. Dame has I think Dame has the cleanest stroke in the tournament probably, but I'm just trusting Trey Young. Trey Young is about to be on a redemption tour,
He has to.
and he's streaky. So
He has to.
yeah,
All right. And then last one, Jay, before we get to our first segment of the show here, and that is Steph or Sabrina. How in this little shootout? Who you got?
I think we talked about this too at the gym when we was talking about getting like nobody's gonna talk about it,
Hmm.
the male female thing.
We could talk about it. We can talk about
But
it if you want.
Steph, he don't want to lose. He's like, and you know it. I'm not even gonna get tongue tied or go down that road. I think that it's just a different level of stakes. And Steph is like, nah, it's all cute, but it's still competitive, and I got to put you down, female or not. I got to put you down, right? So, yeah, he ain't playing around.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. It is a tough one. And here's my take on it. Like I think that if it's a one-on-one game, like okay, that's
Yeah,
there's the physicality is just a little bit
yeah,
different, hard to compare. But like just for shooting, she has a more of a
yeah,
chance that people actually believe. I ain't gonna lie. Like
yeah,
some people that maybe don't watch Sabrina, like before this shooting competition starts, like go watch her. Like you'll see, like she
yeah.
got that strap on her. So with that being said, I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna stick on the girl side and I'm gonna go with Sabrina.
Girl,
So
dad.
I'm going with my girl dad, man. Come on,
Yeah,
Sabrina, you can pull it out. This has
yeah,
nothing to do with lifting weights. It just got to do,
yeah,
getting up shots. And sometimes
yeah.
they going in, maybe sometimes they not going in. So hopefully this is Sabrina's day today.
I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you.
All right, Jay. All right, so let's get pushing and let's get to the body paragraph, the main part of this show, Jay, and that is the contenders versus pretenders. I got a couple teams here, Jay, and
Mm-hmm.
we're more than halfway into the season, and now I feel like we've got a chance to figure out what teams actually have a chance, what teams don't have a chance, what teams maybe need a couple more years. So it's exactly why I want to do this contenders versus pretenders with you. Let's not waste any time. Let's get into it. Let me start with my first team for you here, and that is the Cleveland Cavaliers. Contenders or pretenders?
They're pretenders. Um, I'm going to, with the way that they got smoked last season, and the fact that they're just not prime. They're just not ripe. Like Mobley, he's been hot lately, but I'm waiting. When I can see, what I'm looking for is Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell. They're both of them being their best versions of themselves at the same time. So when I can see Darius Garland riding high and Donovan Mitchell has not, from a usage and from a productivity, and they're still ripping off, 15 out of 18 games or whatever their crazy streak was, then I will believe it. I know Donovan Mitchell is tried and true in the playoffs, so I'm not going to doubt that. But I need to see Darius Garland firing on all cylinders with Donovan Mitchell to call them a contender. And I'm not sure that that's going to happen. I wouldn't put my money on it once they get into the crucible of the playoffs in the second round. So,
So you're going with some pretenders for the
yeah,
Cavs?
for
All
sure.
right, Jay. All right.
You?
I'm going the other way. I'm going with contenders, and here's why. Let me get into it a little bit. So I do understand that I feel like there's this stigma around them that they're not really ready yet. Like how you said, I think you said
Mhm.
perfect word. They're not like prime ready for. But I think that stigma is wrong, and I think that they are ready and they're elite. And like here's why. I mean, as of right now, they're top in the Eastern Conference. I believe they're the second seed at the time of recording, and they struggled to get healthy early in the season. But since December, okay, since the start of December, they've have the best win percentage. They're number 3 offensive rating. They're number 1 defensive rating. And for some context here, the lowest teams in the league right now, they're averaging around 108 points per game, and that's teams like the Spurs, the Hornets, like there's teams that are like more bottom barrel of the league. They're averaging around 108 points per game. The last 12 of the last 12 wins that the Cavs had, they have held teams to 102 points or less. So that defense is just right now an absolute high efficiency rating. That's why they're number 1 defensive ratings. And when I look for like a contending team, like I have a checklist. Man, Siri's tripping on me. Siri, man, you heard that? Anybody talking to you, Siri? What was that?
I thought it was your lady coming in there nagging
Oh,
you. She's
what?
like, she don't know you on the pod, bro. You
Man, come
need
on.
to
That's
check your girl.
Siri
We're on the
tripping, boy.
pod. We're
What?
recording.
Come on, man. All right. Anyway, like I was saying, Jay,
Checklist.
exactly the checklist, right? When there's a contending team, I have a checklist that I run down through to see, like, okay, well, do they check all the boxes? And I realistically think that they do. Here, let's run through the checklist. Do they have that star guy? Do they have that 1A guy? Yes, they got Donovan Mitchell, which on the low, he's realistically an MVP candidate at this point. The way he's playing, the way he's carrying the Cavs, 28 points per game, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, shooting 47% from the field and 36% from the 3-point line. He's a 3-level scorer. He can go get it however, whenever. We both know that. So check. They got that. They got a star. They got a 1A guy. Do they got a playmaker? Yes, they got Darius Garland. He helps keep that offense in order. Not only can he play make for others, but he's the type of guy where he can play make for himself. Like he can be a traditional point guard and initiate the offense as that, but he can also shoot that thing from logo range as well. So check, they got a playmaker who can create for himself and for others. Okay, let's keep going down a checklist. Do they have shooting in today's day and age? You have to have shooting to win this in this league. Darius Garland shoot 38% from the 3-point line. Max Strus 36. Donovan Mitchell 36. They got players like Georges Niang who's shooting 35. They got also the right type of shooters, right? So in this league, there are shooters who can, you say this all the time. I actually think you've taught me this. Not all shots are created equally. So there's shooters who come off and can score off the dribble. There's catch and shoot guys. And they have a perfect mix of players like Darius Garland, Karis LeVert, Donovan Mitchell, who can create and just shoot off the dribble, shoot. However, they can also catch and shoot, but they also have a good mix of the Niangs, of the Max Struses, the guys who specialize in catch and shooting. Also, want to give some credit to Evan Mobley. You talked about how as of late he's been stepping up, and in his last 10 games, he's been knocking out at least 3 3-pointers per game. If he's hitting at least 2 of those 3 per game, that it just absolutely changes the game for their offensive their offensive game and the way the defense's game plan against them. So shooting, check, they got that. Defense, do they got that? They're elite. I mentioned that they're the number 1 defensive rating team since December. They're number 2. They're number 2 as of late. Also, Evan Mobley, he is the key to their defense. He unlocks their defense because of his ability to legitimately guard 1 through 5. He can stay with your guard and he can stay with your big in the inside. They got Jared Allen and Mobley on there, Twin Towers protecting the rim. Check, they got that. Depth, are they deep? Yes, in my opinion, you have a player like Karis LeVert, who's another version of Donovan Mitchell. And when I say this, I don't want people to think I'm saying Karis LeVert is Donovan Mitchell. No, Donovan Mitchell is an MVP type candidate, but Karis LeVert can just go get a bucket, however, whenever, similar to Donovan Mitchell.
On those second units too. Easily on the second unit.
Exactly, on second units, exactly. And then you look at players like Georges Niang, who knows his role, Isaac Okoro, who just knows his role. Players who specialize in what they do. So check, they got that. And then last thing, Jay, on the checklist is the little things. Have they took their lumps? Yes, they got bullied last year in the playoffs and lost 4-1 to the Knicks. They definitely felt that. They definitely took that lump. And do they have a team identity? Absolutely. Their identity is they know who their star is on the offensive end, and then they are killers on the defensive end. So when you run through that entire checklist, and I know this is long-winded, but star player, they got playmaker, they got shooting, they got defense, they got depth, they got have they took their lumps, they got. So when you take all that into account, bro, they are contenders to me. They're ready to go.
Yes. I want to buy all of that, but I'm looking for that pinch point because there's an inflection point that every team has to go through. And when we talk about, I don't want to spoil it too much. I'm just going to keep it high level. For OKC, that is Jokic, like that, what the challenge he represents. And so for the Cavs on the East, that player is Giannis. So can they roll through the East? Their 2 challenges is going to be the Celtics and then Giannis standing in their way. And when I deduce, okay, Donovan Mitchell check, like somebody like the Knicks is going to sick OG Anunoby on him. With the Bucks, I don't know who that guy's going to be. People are going to take turns, but in the end, it's going to be Giannis. This all comes down to Evan Mobley, to be honest. And if he can do it, and my biggest thing, and you're going to always keep hearing me say this, is like when they're ripping off 15 out of 17 in the regular season, I always take that with a grain of salt, always, because they're doing it. Half of those wins, if not more, are going to be a bit against bottom feeders or bad matchups. And when you see the Bucks 7 games in a row, when you see the Celtics 7 games in a row, one of them might have injuries. Jaylen Brown or somebody might, but you can't factor in 3 or those 4 of those teams getting a key injury. So do I have confidence that what the Knicks did to them last year isn't going to happen this year? Do I have confidence that if Giannis is not going to just flat out punk Evan Mobley? And I don't know. I'm not. I wouldn't bet that they're going to get through all 3 of them. So, and I can't call them a contender unless I think that they have a really realistic chance to run the gamut. So,
okay, and I feel like that's important. That's something for us that we got to list, because clearly your version of contender is like, okay, well, how do you match up? Yeah. Because yes, that may be true, but my version of contender is like, I'm taking like all this into account, and like how I just ran through everything with the Cavs. So okay, that's something that we got to keep in mind. But okay, I mean, that is very valid point. They do got to get through the Bucks and the Celtics. I think that they'd have a more favorable matchup against the Celtics, in my opinion, just because I think that that Mobley and Giannis situation. I think Mobley last year, the lights were a bit too bright for him, and he got bullied. And it could happen with the Bucks again this year. But
we'll see. They might be ready. You never know when somebody's going from like level 2 to level 3, right? Yeah. They give you little flashes of it in the regular season, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh snap. Okay, Evan Mobley's here, right? I remember when that happened with Donovan Mitchell. I was like, okay, he's not to be played with right now.
He's not to be played with. Hey, maybe that's Evan Mobley's here, man. Yeah, maybe that's Evan Mobley's here. But Jay, you said it. You said Oklahoma City Thunder. So let's just transition to that. Oklahoma City Thunder, contender or pretender?
I mean, they tried to do a little something with Bismack Biyombo and Gordon Hayward, but man, to me, it's like if something happens to the Nuggets, yeah, they could go all the way to the finals and potentially even win. But Jokic is an Iron Man, dude, and I just think that he's gonna punch a hole through their whole defense, and everything else is gonna unravel. So, if you told me the Nuggets didn't exist or something happened to them, easily they're contenders. They're ripe. They're ready to go. But I just don't believe in this small ball shit that they got going on like that. So it's a harsh one for me. My line of contenders, obviously, like I said, we just said, it's just a little bit different than yours. So I'm gonna say no. The Buck stops in Denver.
Okay, rock with me through this, Jay. Okay, yes. Check this out. Okay, Oklahoma City Thunder. They're one of 2 teams right now in the league that are both top 5 in defensive rating and offensive efficiency.
True story.
Offensive rating as well. True. It's the Boston Celtics and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Okay.
True story.
So yes, that's beautiful. That's great. But I got to keep my same algorithm or my same little method of, are you a contender or are you not? Star, I don't even got to get into it. The guy SGA, yeah. We know he's that guy, which I just want to give this little stat out there. Shooting 64% a true shooting percentage. You got it for SGA. For a guard, that's insane, dog. Thank you, Jay. I was about to say, yo, this is crazy. For a guard, 64% true shooting percentage is insane. But okay, they got that. Playmaker. SGA fills that playmaker role and the star role. So check, they got that. Shooting. They don't shoot many threes, but they are shooting top half of the league, 39% from the three-point line as a team. Again, they don't shoot many, so you got to take that with a grain of salt. But here is where the checklist stops for me, because agreed, they're right there in defensive rating. They're top 5 in the league in that. They're actually sitting on number 4. I like Check's rim protecting. I like Dort's ability to play in the perimeter, but their defense comparatively to what they're going to need, and it's exactly what you brought in, right? It's like, yes, Check is a good rim protector, but what's he going to do when Jokic puts that elbow in his chest and he just goes back like that, and there's just nothing you can do. Remember, we were at the gym and that big ass dude was there who was just putting his chest into everybody, and like couldn't
size matters.
Exactly, size matters, and you couldn't really do anything. And then remember, I told you, I said, wow, like, throughout my whole life, I avoided the weight room so much, but like, I wish I could go back to the weight room, because the weight room is so important in basketball. And I think that this is exactly when that's going to matter, because, okay, Chet can't handle him one-on-one. So now you got to send a double at Jokic. Good luck. If you start sending
Yeah.
a double A, Jokic, good
It's
luck. He's
over.
gonna kill you with that.
Yeah.
So that's where my checklist stops. So I won't even get into depth and
Yeah.
nuances, little stuff. So I think they are pretenders, very good, but not contenders yet.
Yeah. They'll fix it this offseason. How they lose, like there's gonna be a lot of hurt teams. Like, I mean, it happens every year. There's gonna be 10 teams with their feelings really hurt
Mm-hmm.
with how the season ended. And the thing about the Thunder is they have all that bread to fix it. When I say bread, I mean like draft currency,
Yeah.
fungible, uh salaries on the roster, young premium talent. So they're gonna fix it when they get when they meet that immovable object in Jokic.
Movable object. I like that. All right,
Yeah.
Jay. Next team we got here. New York Knicks. New York, New York.
Man, I want to say contender. I want to, but I'm
Then
not.
do it. Then do it.
No, no, no. There's just going to be a little inconsistencies. Some of it, which I just know who Julius Randle is just based off of his body of work, and he's a streaky player. He could be very potent and dangerous, but I'm not going to bet on 16 postseason wins with that. I got a little bromance with Mr. Shifty himself, Jalen Brunson, as do most people right now watching hoops, especially in New York. But and they made great trades. Those are good trades. Alec Burks gets buckets off the bench. Bogdanovich is going to give some a little bit more offensive stability to that chemistry that they got. But again, you're asking me, can they handle Giannis? Can they handle collectively what the Boston Celtics are going to bring? And I just don't. I don't see it. I think when Jalen Brunson gets that 1A attention from the Boston Celtics, and then they look to the Knicks, where the rest of that offense is going to come from. That's where their season ends. So I'll leave it at that.
Okay. That's a valid point. But I think a big reason that Randall has been this playoff dropper is because when he was forced to get that 1A attention, it was so tough because he couldn't
Yeah.
handle it. But now you just said Jalen Brunson's going to get that 1A attention, and I think that he'll be able to handle it. He won't be balling out to the same level that he is right now because at the end of the day, I want everyone to remember that height matters, and he's a 6-foot guard, and like playoffs, they're going to get so much more physical with Jalen Brunson that it's going to be crazy.
White, Drew Holiday. Oh, let me give you Jalen Brown for a little hot minute. Oh, no, Tatum. He's just going to get everybody tap in.
Exactly. So, and I'm not saying he's going to choke. I'm not saying he's going to disappear. Yeah. He's still going to be.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. No, that's a lot for a 6-foot guard to handle. Come on now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like I do think Jalen Brunson's going to continue to do his thing, but where I kind of disagree with you is like you talk about Julius Randle disappearing, is like I think that he'll actually be there more than ever because now Jalen Brunson's getting the 1A attention. So now he doesn't have to get that 1A attention to where now he gets game planned and gets a little bit played out of the game. But
you might be right. It might not even be second round. Like when the defense shifts on, he might not even be the second priority after that. Because if Bogdan and Alec Burke get loose, they get buckets. Both of them get buckets. So it's like you can't cheat on him at all. And Julius Randle is a bully. And I was never a fan of the Lakers pushing him out of town. And so he got disregarded to New Orleans. I was like, nah,
that was part of the AD deal, though, right?
It was, but yeah, I always look at it from an analytical opportunity cost, dissecting it. But in the end, Julius Randle was a plus player, and he just got disregarded like trash, and that was just not the case.
So. Yeah, but real quick, Jay, let me run through my algorithm with you, okay, and let me know where I'm where I'm wrong here, okay?
Shoot it.
They got their star. We know Jalen Brunson is that, and I do want to add this. Julius Randle, like I know he has this bad stigma, but come on, y'all. He's an all NBA player the last 2 years. He's been an all-star the last 2 years. He's been putting up 24 and 10 almost for the last like 3 to 4 years. So like I understand the stigma on that, but he can
Yeah.
at least in my opinion, he should at least be put in that star category. Maybe not superstar, but if I were gonna throw him in the star category, like in my opinion, I think it's okay. So they got 2 of those. So check, they got that. Shooting, they definitely got that. Right now, they're top 10 in the league for 3-point shooting
Hmm.
percentage at 37%. Also, earlier, remember when I talked about having the right type of shooters?
Hmm.
Dante DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, Alec Burke,
Hmm.
and
God, I forgot
Bojan.
about them.
Those are players that like what they do is they specialize in catch and shooting. You put those around driving kick players like Julius Randle, driving kick players like Jalen Brunson. That's when Josh Hart, that's when Dante DiVincenzo, that's when Alec Burks, that's when Boji, that's when these guys are really gonna be at their top level. So shooting, they got that. Defense, since the addition of OG, they've been even better on that end. We know that Coach Tibbs is a defensive minded coach. They're allowing a league best 109 points from their
Hmm.
opponents, which is top of the league. So check, they got defense. Do they got depth? Check, Jay. They got depth. They might be one of the
They do.
deepest teams in the league now
They
with the
do.
addition of Alec Burke and Bojan. When you look at it,
Mm.
Randall, Brunson, Hart, Dante DiVincenzo, OG, Bergs, Hartenstein, Precious Achua.
This is all since Mr. Robinson been out,
Come on.
right?
I was about to say
But
there. I was literally just last night looking at the Knicks ESPN page, and they said that they're planning on testing out Mitchell Robinson after All-Star break. So I just named you all these players without listing
yeah.
their All-Star. I mean, they're starting big. So check, they got that. Do do they have
If they
playoffs?
did it, and somebody beat me to it. I read this not too long ago, but there's going to be with the new CBA, there's going to be a dynamic around teams winning the way the Detroit Pistons did against the Lakers, where it's a collective thing going on.
Mhm.
And the Knicks sneakily have, if that's even how you would say that, have flying under the radar with just overall just depth and dogs. And Tom Thibodeau didn't play young guys for the longest, but it's like his job was just on the line, and he started riding some of the younger players and like Josh Hart and watching and the Precious Achua, and it's just like these are guys that are just like they
Stepping up.
fit perfectly,
They fit
dude. They
perfect,
fit,
bro.
and that depth is real. But everything I just been watching basketball for so long now, and it's just like it's hard for me to consciously appreciate what they're doing in the regular season and just not fast forward to okay, they get to the second round. This is what you need to measure up against. So I immediately fly to that. But what they're doing right now is like is hot. I like it.
Counter to that though, is this not the best Knicks team you've ever seen?
Yeah, I mean that sounds funny because yeah, I mean I remember my earliest memories of basketball was that ugly ass trash with the Knicks playing the Heat in the mid '90s. You know that
Beat
that
me
that
to it,
that
brother.
rugby ball. Yeah, that was just gross stuff. So I mean, definitely the most talented team for
Okay.
sure.
Okay. All right. Well, Jay, I ain't gonna lie. I'm rocking with Contenders. I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds
Okay,
crazy, but when
not
New
mad at
York
you.
basketball's on fire, the world of
Yeah,
basketball is
this is
on
a better
fire. So
place. Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
better place. So Contenders for the Knicks. Jay, what about the Clippers? Let's jump to the West. I feel like we
I'm
didn't
gonna
talk
triple
about.
down on that. I'm gonna just get straight to it because I get a little long winded. I'm still where I'm at. I'm not caving on the Clippers. They're still relatively hot. But no.
Damn,
Again, no.
damn,
I'm gonna
Jay,
leave it.
Jay, Jay,
I'm gonna
Jay,
let you
Jay.
argue, and then I'll shoot holes through what you're talking about. Go ahead.
Jay.
Go.
It's hard to shoot holes through an argument that is based on a player who's having a 50, 40, 90 season.
Okay.
For those of you out there that don't keep up with hoops like how we do and don't know what a 50, 40, 90 season is you shooting 50% or better from the field, 40% or better from the three-point line, or 90% or better from the free throw line. Kawhi Leonard, 24 points per game on 52% from the field, 45% from the three-point line, 89% from the free throw line. I'll give him the cushion, the benefit of the doubt. He'll get that up to 90 by the time the season ends. So they have their star. Okay. Do you know who they have right next to the star who's putting up a 50, 40, 90 season? A player who's averaging just 2 points less than that at Paul George, 22 points per game on 45% from the field, 40% from the three-point line. Check. They got 2 stars. They got 2 playmakers. I mean, they got 2 stars. They got a playmaker in James Harden who I love when James Harden accepts his role because he's so damn good at being a point guard that it's crazy to me that like he wants to be the system so bad that it's like, yo, if you just hone in on your point guard skills, you can be such an amazing point guard. Like I still believe to this day, even better than Tyrese Maxey. Maybe I'm gonna sound crazy by saying this. James Harden was the best pick and roll partner Joel Embiid ever had up until this point in his career. This is only 1 year of seeing Tyrese Maxey and him playing together. But right now, Harden's putting up eight assists per game. And the beautiful playmaking part about James Harden is that you can't just, like how when Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid ran a pick and roll, we're just going to double Joel Embiid and force Ben, threaten. Is Ben Simmons a threat offensively? Guess what? You cannot do that with James Harden because that man is a threat. Just last year, man put 45 points up on the Celtics. Okay, so they got a playmaker. Shooters. They are a top 4 team in the league in both field goal percentage and 3-point percentage, shooting 39% from the field, shooting 49% from the field and 39% from the 3-point line. Earlier, I talked about it with 2 different teams already. I talked about the Cavs and the Knicks having the right type of shooters around your driving kick players. Terrence Mann, Norman Powell, great catch and shoot players to put around driving kick players like Russ, Hard, PG. So check, they got that. Defense. Here is where I have some concerns. Okay, now here's where my list takes a halt. It stops, Jay, because check this out, Jay. They got 2 great. I mean, there was one point in this league where there was no question, a shadow of a doubt, that Kawhi Leonard and Paul George were the best 2-way players in this league. You can still make that argument now. The league has gotten better, but you can still make the argument now. But where I have my fears and where I have my qualms about this team is that front court. Okay, that front court of Daniel Tice, Mason Plumlee, and Zubac. I don't know if I can trust that come playoff time. I don't know if I'm ready to put my money up on the line against other front courts in this league, especially when contending front courts. Every other team that I've said so far that I've deemed a contender has an elite front court. This team doesn't. Now they have a extremely elite backcourt, and let's see if that can make up for their weaknesses of the front court. But that's where my list comes to a halting stop. And I say, Jay, the Clippers are pretenders. But they're almost there, though. They're almost there. At least I gave them more of a thought. You said all that
to say that they're pretenders.
I give them more of a thought. I give them more of a thought than you did. I give them more of a thought than you did.
Yeah. So I'm with you. Like that lineup, I'm looking at it online right now, and that Kawhi, PG, Norm Powell, Zubac lineup with Harden is killing the league right now with their plus minus. But that 5 again with Zubac and Powell on the court, I hate to. I want to try to go to somebody other than Denver. First off, any key injury on Denver, and then I think that tips the scales. So again, we're talking Aaron Gordon, Jamal Murray, maybe even a KCP. Any one of them go down, and I kind of have to reevaluate whether I think Jokic is still single-handedly overpowering enough with the Clippers firing on all cylinders. But firing on all cylinders for the Clippers is my fundamental issue with them, right? It's Kawhi Leonard not getting hurt. It's James Harden not climbing up. And I can't ride with that. I'd be more inclined maybe even to go with Phoenix. And I don't even like Phoenix at all. I don't want to bet on no Brad Beal. But the funny thing is even if if KD and Booker cancel out Kawhi and Paul George, I'd still take Beal over Harden. You're right. Depth is an issue for Phoenix for sure. But man, he's trying to challenge me. James Harden is trying to say, "Are you sure you want to bet against me?" But this is a lifetime achievement reward for James Harden. I just can't roll with it. So,
I mean, I feel it. I mean, brother, I'll be honest. Like, you have all the reason in the world to not roll with it. I'm just hoping that the playoff failures, the him arguing with Daryl Morey and his career. I said this before he came to the Clippers, and now I don't believe this because he's got his play better a lot. But if this Clipper situation didn't work out, like, I don't know what team really would have took James Harden, because
there wasn't going to be one. And that's what's going to make his contract situation so crazy. Like, that's a whole 5-minute, 10-minute segment right there on the spot, because there's so many little machinations of which way it could go with James Harden. And all of it's going to really be predicated on how does the season end. But one last little nugget, just because I want to shoot it off, is that they might have extreme matchup issues with the Minnesota Timberwolves, because if the Timberwolves completely shut down the paint, and Jared Vanderbilt, not Vanderbilt, Jaden McDaniels, can mitigate one of them, PG-13 or Kawhi, then all of a sudden Minnesota might be in the driver's seat. So that's another reason why I
It's a
can't
tough
rock with
task
them.
to ask, though.
Yeah, it's
Mitigating
matchup.
those two players is tough.
Yeah. So
All
we'll
right.
see.
All right, Jay. I like that. I like that. Giving Minnesota some love, man. I know one of our recent
Matchup.
videos here.
I know. Yeah, I was dogging them out. But matchups though, and yeah, matchups. I like them against the Clippers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. All right. And that's all it comes down to, Jay, is matchups. But Jay, let's get to the last contender or pretender team here, and that is the Philadelphia 76ers, contender or pretenders.
Pretender. Like there's
Damn.
just
Like that?
yeah. No way. No way. No way.
Can you tell me why?
Joel's erratic injury history, and then Tyrese Maxey is going to hit some adversity, be with the level of attention that he's going to get in the playoffs. He's going to get real, unadulterated, undeviated.
1A.
Yeah, I mean, and whether you 1A, 1B, it's perimeter oriented. So everything on the perimeter is going to be geared towards mitigating him, and they don't have the quality behind those two, in my opinion. When you have to put out a Batum or a Covington or whoever else is left on that, Tobias Harris is a $15 to $20 million player getting paid $40 million, and he's good player, but yeah, nah.
Okay. Now, I agree with you that they're not. Excuse me. I agree with you that they're not contenders, but like I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I gave it a little bit more of a thought. You was just like, nah, pretenders.
Nope.
Because and at the end of the day, I mean, maybe your brain just working a little quicker than mine. Because at the end of the day, like that's where I get to as well. Because real quick, running through the famous John algorithm, we got Joel Embiid as the star. The bro is averaging more points than he is in minutes played, which is crazy. Tyrese Maxey's doing his thing, career high numbers across the board. Playmaker they got in Tyrese. Shooting. Now, here's where there's a dropout because they're bottom half of the league in shooting 34% from the 3-point line. They look to improve its shooting by bringing in Kyle Lowry, Buddy Hield, and Campaign, which first couple games that has worked out in theory. I don't know if that'll keep rolling. Defense, oh man, Joel Embiid is a defensive menace anchoring in there, but the backcourt is where I really fear because, like, really quick, listen to this backcourt rotation and tell me if you hear one defensive stopper, okay? Tyrese Maxey, DeAnthony Melton, Buddy Hield, Kyle Lowry, and Campaign.
Yeah, I mean that's all either washed or that's just not their shtick. Now, DeAnthony Melton, I've seen him lock in a little bit, but
in the playoffs,
definitely not in the playoffs. And he's only one guy. Like he's a plus defender. I wouldn't say an elite defender.
Yeah,
but he's definitely a plus defender. But one guy, what's one guy going to do when there's 3 leaky sieves on the court? Like that's
exactly
okay. That's not making no difference.
So I'm not sold on their shooting. I'm not sold on their defense, and I'm not sold on their depth. Like you can't tell me that your plan is to take Joel Embiid out of a game in the playoff series and check in Mo Bamba, or Paul Reed. Like I like Paul Reed a lot, bro.
I do too. I do.
That's just
What's
not
Big
like
Ball
that's
Paul?
not a
What's his name?
Well,
yeah,
Big Ball Paul.
Yeah, they call him some funky nickname, but yeah, no, I like him too. I like him a lot, but that ain't enough.
Okay,
so,
pretenders. Yeah. Okay, so we're both pretenders. So as we wrap up this contenders and pretenders, Jay, let me get this clear. So did you have any contenders? Did you have any contenders, Jay?
Yeah, to be clear. So, I mean, my contenders list in the entire league, man. I'm sorry. The Celtics, the Bucks, and the Nuggets. That's it, right?
Okay.
And if you told me that the Nuggets were going to have a key injury, then I'd put like 3 or 4 teams right up in there. right?
Okay.
Like, I mean, right that between Minnesota, OKC, I'd even slam the Warriors in there, maybe. The Lakers for sure. Like the 4 teams come straight to the front if you told me the Nuggets, but I'm just sorry. I'm sorry. Call me
Okay.
drunk,
No,
whatever. Little
no.
bromance, whatever. Yeah,
Stand on
Jokic
it.
is him.
Stand on it. I
And
love it.
people
I
seem to
love
be
it, Jay.
forgetting about him, man. Like, come
They
on.
gonna
Did you guys
remember.
bombers championship? Like he
You know,
waxed them all. Like,
You know what
dude.
the issue. You know what the issue is, Jay? Because
What's
when
that?
you win a championship, like you're on a whole nother level mentality, right? So he's not even tripping about the regular season at
Yeah,
this
he's
point.
been on
He's
cruise
like,
control, like
it,
just chilling.
he's like, yeah, I got something for y'all. Watch when that playoffs kick around, man.
Yeah.
So, all right, Jay, I'm right there with you. And then for me, just to give some clarification, as far as this list, my only contenders was the Cavs, and then I had OKC as pretenders. I had the Knicks as contenders. Clippers as pretenders and 76ers as pretenders as well. And then
Mhm.
like league wise, I of course also have Nuggets and Celtics and Bucks. All right, Jay. So that's always one of my favorite segments to get into is contenders, pretenders, especially as playoffs gets ready to roll around. But Jay, I think this is a good point for us to go ahead and sign off here. We got All-Star game coming up. I mean, not All-Star weekend coming up here real soon. Any thoughts, Jay, before we get to it?
No, man, I'm looking forward to the dust settling here. I'm let's see some 3-point shootouts, some dunk contests, and then I'm really looking forward to just now that all the trades have been made, everybody knows who they're rocking with, and so I can nerd out. And then probably next week I want to talk about I'm for those listening, I'm gonna come out with a little 5-7 minute video just talking about that second apron stuff. And I just want to paint it real simple, plain, concise, because there's a couple teams that are about to hit an apocalypse, namely the Celtics. Minnesota's going to be in some trouble, and I just want to break it down real simple because this offseason isn't going to make sense, and I want to paint a nice little picture. So be on the lookout for that. I would say that, and then hit me on Twitter for any kind of questions. I'm here for it. So
Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. As always, y'all, check us out. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We got a family, man. We constantly growing. We love having y'all in the comment section. Love y'all giving us y'all opinion and whatnot. And just like our Jay said, don't be afraid to get at us, whether it's DM and Jay on Twitter, Instagram, hitting us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. And yeah, man, be ready for that Wednesday drop. We're gonna keep rolling with this consistent drops. We got our weekly recaps and our shows that we got during the week. So hope you guys been enjoying. But for now, hope y'all have a great All-Star weekend. By the time y'all hear this, it'll probably be like All-Star game or something like that. So hope you've been enjoying, and hopefully Sabrina won. So I think that's a good way to
I just want to see her make Steph tighten up a little bit,
tighten up, huh? Like I said, everyone come in thinking it's sweet. Then he's like, hold on.
wait, what? Y'all, you trying to embarrass me on TV?
That's so
Oh,
funny, man.
yeah.
All right, y'all. Well, shoot. Appreciate you guys, and we'll catch y'all next time. Peace.